My name's Adam Argyle, and you're watching my COVID vlog thoughts. Today's topic is all about predicting the future. We try to predict the future. We try to bless our future self. It's more common to be like, future you will really appreciate this. Or when you are ready to scale, you'll appreciate this. Or when other teammates join, they'll really appreciate this. Have you ever said things like that? My follow-up is, have you ever felt things like this? That's the code I wrote 6 months ago? What was I thinking a year ago when I put this into the project? Like last week? That's what I didn't do that last week. And then you go get blame. You're like, I guess I did do that last week. What I want to sort of articulate with today's like predicting the future and thought process is it comes from a good intent. In our hearts and in our minds, we want to be doing good for ourselves in the future. And so we try to prepare. We try to prepare now for the whatever's coming down the road, in the same way that we try to predict other things from happening. So we go put things in place that hopefully will help us in those moments when that starts to get hard. But what I find is a lot of these securities and things that we put in there to sort of ensure something won't happen, or let's just take TypeScript, for example. We're hoping that it's going to catch a bunch of bugs. Future employees will come join and they'll appreciate all the type ahead. So it came from the right mindset, but I don't think that the reality gets delivered. It's the same reason we want Webpack. It's supposed to save us the future selves or our current selves trouble with managing our assets, doing simple build pipeline things. But I think what we find later is that these conveniences become entirely new tasks and chores to manage. Taking on a new gadget isn't always relieving you of work. Sometimes it's creating just a new type of work. You have to manage the gadget. The gadget doesn't just show up and do its job and walk away. There's usually maintenance associated with the gadget. Anyway, so we're getting back to predicting the future. It's like born out of this good sense where we want to do well for ourselves. But here's what's funny is I find when my future self does show up to this prepared past thing that I made, it's usually far from right. And it's so far from correct that I get more full of regret than I do appreciation. And I personally haven't found many projects that I revisit where I made all of these future decisions, and whether it's about like scale and my cloud architecture, because I used Kubernetes, or if I Webpack and GitHub Actions, I tend to revisit these things. And all of the choices that I thought I was making that were right end up becoming choices I have to undo. There are things it's like, that never did happen, and now it's just baggage, and so I'll like remove it. That never really came to be a baggage, I'll remove it. We never used that bundle type. There's like all these weird things that'll happen that you thought you were doing something right, but you ended up just creating cruft because you tried to predict the future. We can't predict the future. We really have no idea. We shouldn't try to predict the future. Don't try to solve problems you don't have, even though it's tempting. You can go do it to learn. Like you could go solve a problem to learn something new, but try to keep your personal learning away from the problems that your project has. I will solve a problem when I have it, and I'll solve it in one of the ways I may have solved in the past. I'll reach into a past solution, or I can go into a new solution and look. I want to solve only that which I have a problem for. Then I'm not adding unnecessary complexity for a potential. I'm adding necessary complexity for what is now. All right, well, I hope that was mildly interesting. Cheers to the letting me rant. I'll see you around next time for another short thought about something. All right, see ya.